Let's have a conversation.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Sorry, I still sound like this. Let's have a conversation. I haven't been on camera that much this week. There's been a multiple variety of reasons for that, but um, I've just gotten to a point where I've said to myself, the train's got to keep going, no matter what's happening in the background. You can't put your life on halt for some BS that is happening. And quite frankly, um, life has taken unexpected turns for me in the last few weeks, in the last 3 weeks to a month. I felt like I've been in a terrible movie for the last month. Like, if anyone knows anything about my life is really straight and narrow. Like, when I say that, what I mean is it's cut and dry. I'm a creature of habit. I have set things in my life. I'm very careful about protecting my peace, and there's not too many variables. And that means when it comes to a whole lot of things, I'm not going to say too much here, but I'll just say that going through a period of grieving and getting back on my feet from that took a lot. And I was finally starting to feel in a spot where I am feeling pretty good again. And then, an unknown variable popped into the equation. Then I found myself a little bit shell shocked. I found myself, how did I even get here? What is going on? And then I found myself reverting and regressing to an old place that I was, an old dark place that I was in more than 10 years ago. And I was like, I could easily find myself falling off track, but I'm stronger than that. I'm not that person that I was 10 years ago. I'm better than that. And I'm a person who can handle a lot more than I could back then. And I feel confident in my ability to just have this as another chapter in my story. And, somebody told me something profound this week, or a couple of people told me something profound this week. And that specific thing was like, sometimes when you are not happy in the situation that you're in, things happen to shake things up, and maybe not in ways that you expected for or that you planned for. But those shakeups force you into figuring out a better way, or figuring out a new thing, a new situation. Because how many of us have sat down and done something for a long time, repeatedly, even if it's not making you happy, just because you're familiar with it, just because it's comfortable for you, you know? How many people have done that? And then you find yourself with days, weeks, months, and years going by, and you're like, why am I still here? Why am I still doing this? Um, it can be. I was told it can be a blessing in disguise. I was told it can be a blessing in disguise. Hey, Vicky. Hi, Charicity. I'm in terms of my sickness, which has been going on for 2 weeks, which has been both weather related and stress related combined. I would say that today I feel much better. I mean, my voice still comes and goes, but I think yesterday I sweat out the rest of my fever for now. My fever has not come back to me. for now. So I feel okay right now. All right. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. I'm trying to see. Nope. Oh, I can do my goal on the phone. See, this is the thing I don't get. When I go live on the phone, I can't make goals on the phone. But when I go live on StreamYard, I can make goals on the phone. Let's say 20 super chats, right? Yo. $10. Give me 1 second. Working on something. Let's say 30 minutes. And it's okay. Shout out to my 5 people on here. I see 2 in the chat. Too many curveballs. Chiricity, just y'all being here is support. As you know, you've given me plenty of support. I never asked for support because I just feel like part of my life circumstances is happenstance. Like there are things that have happened to me in my life that shouldn't have, and I was unprepared for, and like it's unfair. But there are other parts of my life that I feel like I shouldn't be in a position of being paycheck to paycheck. I feel like that part of it is somewhat my fault. There were circumstances that not everybody would understand. If you've had a sick parent and the parent did not prepare themselves for a circumstance where they were not able to financially take care of themselves and they were sick, um, my mom and I had to rally and put money together to take care of him in terms of like paying caretakers out of pocket or paying agencies. And I contributed out of my own pocket for a few years to get my dad a lot of different things that he needed. When it came to like, we had to get one of those bed rails because he was falling out of the bed. We had to get one of those alarms, those bed alarms, because what happened is his sleep schedule, like someone who has Alzheimer's and dementia, they don't have a night and day, and a lot of times they wake up in the middle of the night and they're trying to do things and you're asleep. So I had to get one of those bed alarms so that when he shifted in the bed, an alarm would go off so that me or my mom would wake up. um, I was paying for his haircuts. I was doing his haircuts, but then I was also paying for the barber to come and do house calls for his haircuts. There was a lot of things related to that honestly set me back. And, I'm not an excuse person. I mean, so I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the only person who's been in that position, but I will say that I did sacrifice a lot to make sure that we could take care of him the best that we could towards the end of his life. And in some ways, that did set me back. All right. I didn't like you, I wouldn't be here, but you are family now. I appreciate that so much, Vicky. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that super chat. How y'all doing, by the way? I don't want to always talk about me. I want to know how all of you are doing. Vicky, I do remember you talking about wanting to bring back the Zooms that we used to do, and I'm open to bringing back those Zooms. For anyone who doesn't know, the last one that we did was probably a couple of years ago at this point, but we used to do Zooms. We used to get on Zoom, and there would be 10 of us or so, and we would jump on there. What we would do is actually we would put on a show and then we would watch it together. Discord has kind of taken that over, but I would love, honestly, if y'all would be okay with it, just to have a Zoom where we just have conversation. Forget the shows. I mean, even if you want to talk about the shows, that's fine. But I would love to have Zoom conversation where we just jump on there and we see each other or hear each other, depending on what you're comfortable with, and we just talk. I definitely was there taking care of my dad. Oh, it was a hard time. It was a terrible time, but also you don't know my story, but I get it more than you know. Listen, this is my thing, right? I share my story, but I always say that everybody who's watching me has their own story, you know? So I know that sometimes not everybody is going to speak about the specifics about what has been happening for them, but I understand that each of you has your own life. I'm the person who's on here speaking to y'all, but y'all have your own things going on. Y'all have your own sick family members. Y'all have your own personal circumstances that happen with you. And I feel like I share about my story in hopes that something that I say might resonate with you, you know? Debbie, how are you doing, Debbie? Nice to see you. You know my saying, better late than never. As long as you showed up, that's all that matters. I have DM rocks. I was gonna be getting to that. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Hope you're doing good. I just watched the Traders episode actually right before I got on here, and that was one thing that I was gonna bring up at some point in this conversation. Yeah, I mean, watching the show is fine, but you remember when I was putting it on Zoom, it was very laggy. That was my only issue with that. It was extremely laggy to watch a show on Zoom. If it was not laggy, I would love to put it on there and we watch it together, but the lag part was my issue. Chiricity, thank you. Thank you, Chiricity. I really appreciate you always. All right. If only I knew about how, in what ways you relate to me. Is that what you're saying? Because I'm sure. Oh, I agree, DM Rocks. I already thought Danielle was playing terrible. I wanted to talk about Boston Rob. Boston Rob, I feel like, has the Suri effect. What do I mean by the Suri effect? No, he's not playing the same type of game as Suri. He's playing a lot more of an aggressive game than Suri, but he's one of those people where you look at him and you're like, he just might be a traitor, but I don't want to be the person who takes a shot at him and misses, because he has a way with words and he's conniving, he's cunning. Because I said to myself, they showed at the end of the last episode where Wes was like, what is the only way that you are going to 100% know that somebody is a traitor? And then they were like, if you're a traitor yourself, right? So I'm thinking Boston Rob is going to be in the hot seat. And while Boston Rob was questioned in the hot seat, he didn't get any votes in his direction. He didn't get one single vote in his direction. That's not to say that it's not going to happen next week, but Boston Rob, he does. He does have his crew. He does have his crew. He is playing well. Now, the Traders is a long game, so I feel like the fact that he has this many people talking about him already means that I feel doubtful that he's going to win. But the fact that he had all this doubt about him this week and he didn't get a single vote in the round table for episode 5 says something. Edward has arrived. Edward, I don't think I've seen you on any one of these late night ones before. Can't sleep? Oh that was something. Danielle already has a lot of suspicion on her, but now Dylan telling Carolyn that Danielle said her name and having Carolyn doubt her, like Danielle is playing a messy, sloppy game. She's not playing a good game. I think Danielle is. I don't have confidence. Oh yeah, to that you can't sleep, Edward. He has a strategy that he uses and it works every time. He even says they should vote him out, but they never do. You know what? There's a thing about the traders that makes it a little bit different from other games. Even if you think for sure that somebody is a trader, if that particular person is powerful and influential, you're scared to put their name out there. So I was interested to see the fact that Wes was the one that threw it out there, that he thinks that Boston Rob is a traitor. And then it showed Wes and Derek talking about the fact that they think Boston Rob is a traitor. But the thing about it is, Wes voted Nikki. That's her name, right? Nikki? I think it was Nikki. And the reason why he did that was because he's like, I don't want to be the one outlier who throws Rob's name out there when nobody is voting Rob. So that's like a numbers thing. And then also, Rob confronted Wes directly. I'm gonna get Wes's Patreon because I feel like there's so much I'm missing from his Patreon that I need to get from his Patreon. Wes gives very detailed breakdowns of all the shows that he's on. So I still have yet to see anything that he has to say about House of Villains, Traders, like, and I want to get another interview of this guy at some point. He has a strategy that he uses and it works every time. Oh, I read that one. I'm sorry. We are the no sleep crew, Debbie. No sleep crew in the building. So I said this before, but Wes gives me, I mean, not Wes, Dylan gives me the vibes of, why can't I think of his name? Who's the guy last season from The Bachelor that was going against Phaedra, and Phaedra was like, I'm not going to kiss your ass for a rose? Who was that? Oh, you haven't watched it? So The Traders is on NBC, and also it's on the Peacock app. It's a show where I think up to 4 people can be selected as traders, right? So there's a roundtable vote every night where the group votes on who they think is the traders, who they think is a trader, and the person they vote and they think is a trader gets voted out. And then at the end of the night, the traders come together and they vote for somebody to kill. So that's how that goes. And then at the end of the game, there's usually a mixture of traders and faithfuls, as they call them. And the goal is for either if there's one trader left, if there's one trader left in the end, then the traders win. So in order for the faithfuls to win, they have to get out all the traders. Peter, that's the name I was trying to think of. Thank you. I think that Dylan gives me Peter vibes. So I don't think that Dylan is going to make it to the end, because when you become a threat to the traders, they take you out. That's my opinion. Yeah, Wes is sticking with the pack for now, which is not really like Wes, but I think that Wes is also really smart. So he's just like, I'm not going to go against the group and make myself a target. My mind left yesterday. It was Thursday. Maybe because of, I don't know if you had MLK Day off. Maybe that's why. Threw off a lot of people's weeks. I would love to, and I asked Wes about that. Wes is willing to do stuff with me, but Wes's schedule is. Wes is the type of person who I'll ask him for like 4 months, 5 months, if he can do an interview with me, and he'll be like, yes, but when my schedule clears up. And then I'll ask him one day, and he'll be like, well, can you do it today in 10 minutes? And either I just figure it out in 10 minutes or I wait another 6 months. So I'm not saying I'll never get another interview with Wes, but who knows? Pistol Pete. Peter clocked everybody, and that's the reason why he got murdered. He got murdered, right? I'm pretty sure that he did. Yeah, because he clocked everything. It is. It's a really good show. Debbie, are you primarily a Big Brother fan? I feel like if you're a Big Brother fan, you have plenty of reasons to watch this. They always have Big Brother people on there. They have Danielle Reyes on there. They have Brittany on there. Is that the only two Big Brother players for this season? I believe so. They had Dan Giesling on last season. Can't think of all of them right now, but they always have Big Brother players on the Traders. This is what I'm saying. He's nice. He's nice. Somebody who is a known manipulator jumps onto a show, is picked as an extra cast, and is still able to do something like that, I'm impressed with him. I don't think he's gonna win, but I don't know. But I'm impressed with him so far. You didn't like Peter? I mean, he's not as aggressive as Peter for sure. But I just mean in terms of like Dylan seems to have a pretty good read on the game, with the exception of thinking that Boston Rob is not a traitor. Like, well, what do you mean with your Disney community? Like the shows that you watch on Disney? Is that what you mean? Oh, and there's contention. That's the other thing that's interesting right now. There's so much contention amongst the actual traders. Like Danielle, Dylan informing Carolyn that Danielle has thrown her name out there. This is what I'm so confused about. So Danielle wants to get rid of Carolyn so that she can get another trader in there that can help her get rid of Boston Rob. I feel like you should have been a united front with Carolyn to try to get rid of Boston Rob, because you and Carolyn were on the same page about not trusting Boston Rob. So the two of you work together to get him out, and then you can get another person. And if you feel like you need to get rid of Carolyn, you do that afterwards. If you try to plant those seeds about Carolyn first, I feel like Danielle is playing this all wrong. Dylan has the potential because he also knew how to quiet down. That's true. And Dylan is using Boston Rob as a shield. Yeah, I haven't seen UK. The only two that I've seen is US and Canada. I liked Canada. I should be nicer about Peter. I just know him from the. Oh no, I don't know him. Like most of these people on this show, I don't know them from anything. The only people that I've ever known are the Challenge Survivor people, and also Big Brother. I don't know like Bachelor, Real Housewives, like those people. I don't watch those shows. So yeah, hopefully they show her more as time goes on. They walked out of the secret room and left the door open. Talk about not covering your tracks. I know that was, yeah. I was like, what in the world? And then they saw Danielle walking out of there, and yeah. Oh, Disney YouTubers. Are you in, so you live in Orlando, Debbie? If you don't mind, that's pretty cool. I went to Orlando for the first and only time. I went to Orlando not last year. Was it last year? I think it was 2023. And I felt like it cost me like $100 a day to breathe air in Orlando. Which one is Sam again? I don't remember all of them, to tell you the truth. Oh, South Florida. Okay, I've been to South Florida twice, 3 times. I was in Palm Beach 4 times. The first time I was in South Florida, my friend had a destination wedding in Miami. The second time I was in Florida, I went to Palm Beach for a race. The third time, I went to Fort Lauderdale, and I mean, I went to Miami, but I stayed in Fort Lauderdale. Oh, I did stay in Miami, so that was the fourth time. And then my last time in Florida in general was in Orlando, and I also went to Tampa Bay. So I had never been to Florida until I think 2019, but I've been there like 5 times since then. Peter's not a nice guy in life. He did some girls dirty, but I was impressed by how he played the game. I heard that about him. I never watched The Bachelor, but I did hear that about him. What are you saying? That Peter was Britney Spears' ex-husband? Is that what you're saying? You know what was cool that I went to in Orlando? There was a thing called I went to Universal over there, and I went to the Hard Rock Cafe, and they had a thing called Pod Meets World. If any of y'all were Boy Meets World fans, they had a tour. Boy Meets World, uh, Danielle Fishel, Ryder Strong, and I forget the name of the guy who played Eric on Boy Meets World. They have formed a podcast that goes through all the different episodes. Um, and then they give like breakdowns and behind the scenes of what was happening during those episodes. And then they get special guests from the episodes. And then they made a Pod Meets World tour where they went around to different cities on tour, and they make it a whole show. So when I was in Orlando for a race, I was like, the race happens to fall on the same weekend as one of these shows. So I went to the show and it was awesome. Even though the one thing I didn't like about Universal Studio, the show started, I think, at 7 o'clock. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna get there about 5:30 to get myself situated. The amount of time from when you get to the entrance to get into the parking garage, I didn't get into the show until almost 8 o'clock. And 2.5 hours between the time it took to sit in that line and park to the amount of time it took to get from the gate, that line that we had at the gate, to actually walk over to where they have the Hard Rock Cafe. Pretty much, if you're going for an evening show, you got to get there probably in the early afternoon at the latest. You can't go there just for the show and think you're going to Sam Jones. Okay. I don't know Sam Jones. Um, who got murdered, as in who they haven't shown get murdered? No. If you know who got murdered after the aired episode, no. But if you're talking about episode 4 and below, yes. Oh, I didn't understand the connection. Topanga. It was really fun. But because in episode 5, nobody was murdered yet. Somebody was voted out at the round table, but nobody was murdered. Oh, there was something else I was going to talk about. Oh, for those of you who are interested in the Cara Maria, Zoom call, I have reached out to Cara Maria. I don't have a response yet, but she doesn't respond right away. But within a week, I'm sure she's going to respond and let me know what she thinks. I think that I have about 14 people, 13, 14 people that said that they were going to participate and donate towards getting this car Maria live. I mean, Zoom call. So I asked her if she would be willing to do it, and when she responds to me, I'll let y'all know. And if she says that it's a go, then I will reach out to y'all. I don't know how I'll do it. I don't know if I'll just leave my donation information or if I will make like a thing that collects and tracks everybody who has put in. And then all those people, I will send them the link for that Zoom call. Because my goal for the Zoom call is that you all send me questions. And I'm not saying that you won't be able to ask your questions, but I'm trying to make this efficient because the call would probably be approximately 30 minutes. It was a secret baby. I did see about it, but I didn't know that it was a secret baby. Just let us know. See, like these are all the things that would go on my variety show. I still have a goal of doing this variety show where I would talk about different topics. I would do it right here on YouTube. I would have some entertainment news, reality TV news, trending topics, that kind of stuff. Inspired by the Nick Cannon show when it was still on. I loved the Nick Cannon show, to be honest with you. It's probably my favorite thing to ever be in the audience. It was 50-50 between that and Good Morning America because Michael Strahan is the man. And third to the two of those is Tamron Hall. I love being in Tamron Hall's audience. So maybe it was not an expected one. That's what I take that to mean. Definitely take that to mean. It was unexpected. Yeah, Nick always had the fits. That's probably why we related. I would get every time I was going on there, I was like, I gotta make sure the fit is good. This is the only time, right? So I go to all these other shows. Generally, they put me in the front or towards the front. Just from looking at me and what I got on and whatever. But in Nick Cannon's case, he had a guy that stood outside when you were in line and he would be like, let's see the fit. So he would look at what you have on, he would take a picture of it, and then he'd run it by somebody. Then he would come over to you and he would give you a VIP ticket. I mean, like the person who was checking you in would give you a VIP ticket based on what you had on. None of these other shows that I go to do that. So I always felt that was cool that they would actually, if I put time to put my outfit together, they would look at the outfit and they would choose where I'm going to be seated specifically based on that. And then he would come out in the audience and he would always compliment what I had on. Oh, I didn't even realize you said Taylor. Yeah, Tyler. Tyler, he was on All Stars. He was on the Big Brother All Stars. He was on the Challenge USA. What was his original season of Big Brother? For those who are like Big Brother, primary Big Brother fans. Yeah, let's not start any Taylor rumors on here. We are Taylor Nation on this channel. Honestly, this is quite a lot of you for for me, anyways. 3:24 a.m. in the morning, season 20. Thank you. Yeah, we're not. That rumor is not starting here. Taylor fans, we are not saying that Taylor has a baby. Taylor does not have a baby, as far as we know. The cool people with insomnia, except for, well, I was about to say except for you and Vicky, but at the same time, if I was on here 3 hours from now, you would probably still be on. I actually fell asleep like very early yesterday. Question: what do y'all think? Get rid of the hair or keep the hair? Get rid of the hair or keep the hair? This hair has existed from, if y'all saw pictures of me at my dad's funeral, my hair was gone. It's cut off. And I have been growing it since then. So I've been like, sometimes I go through these time periods where I'm like, let me change it up, new start. Going to the barber this weekend. So what do y'all think? Cut it or keep it? I'm just glad I can. Yeah, for those of y'all who don't know, I got on here one night and there was just a bunch of trolls. There's a whole bunch of trolls that showed up at the same time. So I was just blocking them left and right. And then unfortunately, Tricity was one of the people that got blocked accidentally. I was trying to block somebody above or below her. And then for like 3 to 4 days, I was like, what happened to Tricity? I kept asking on my lives, what happened to Tricity? Is she okay? And then I went in and checked. Actually, I reached out to her on Facebook, and then she was like, I haven't been able to comment for like 3 4 days, and I was like, ooh. So I went into the section where I can see everybody who's blocked, and I saw her in there, and I felt so bad. Yeah, and the funny thing is, my hair used to grow like a big afro. This is, I mean, I've cut it a little bit a few times, but I mean, what I mean by that is, hold on, trying to see if I can show y'all. Trying to see if I can show y'all what I'm talking about. That is what I looked like on the day of. And then from there, I didn't cut it again. I mean, I cut it, I trimmed it sometimes, but I didn't get it cut since that day. That was almost 2 years ago at this point. All right. Focus. Focus camera. Sorry about that. Made my camera blurry. Um. Yeah, I know. Oh, you keep your hair low. No time for hair anymore. It's easier when you have low hair. I say do what is comfortable for you. My hair is not thick. Oh, I didn't know that you did chemo, Debbie. Wow. You're blocked on an account. Vicky, let me know what account that is so I can unblock it. I'm sorry. If you have another account that is blocked, let me know. And I mean, you can, if you ever get blocked, especially if you have my contact info, just shoot me a message. Oh, I don't like how this is not focusing. There we go. Shoot me a message and let me know. Oh, you were previously blocked. Okay, I got you. But either way, that goes for anybody. If you ever get blocked by me accidentally when I go on a blocking spree, just let me know. Especially if you have an ability to contact me. If you have my email address or if you're in one of my Facebook groups or whatever, just let me know. And well, I feel like yeah, this group of traders is a mess. This group of traders is a mess, but I'm enjoying it anyways. Did y'all watch part two of the challenge reunion? It was okay. It was interesting enough. It wasn't quite as interesting as I thought it would be, but it was good enough. I'm in a phase that I think I'm about to chop off my hair, so part of me says go for it. See, this is my thing. I pretty much reset probably once every 2 years. So a part of me is like, I'm going through some major things in my life right now. Major things. Major difficult things. So I'm feeling like my mind is feeling like just get rid of it. And see, I grew it because I was going through a major thing, which was the loss of my dad. And now I'm going through like another major thing with my job. So I'm feeling like cut it and start over. But we'll see what I decide. Barbershop on Saturday. So they did. But I mean, Bob the drag queen kind of brought it on himself by being like, oh, I think one of the people who just came into the game is one of the traders. And knowing that one of the traders is Boston Rob. So it was a risk to try to do that, to say that. Part one of what? Oh, part one of the reunion. Okay, y'all. So I'm gonna be on here. I didn't reach my goal, so I'm not gonna be extended unless I get 8 more donations in the next. Let me see. Yeah, unless I get 8 more donations, I'm not gonna be on here. Yeah, it shows me that I have 2 of 10 donations, which I you can't see this, I guess. But anyways, I appreciate the fact that I got 2 donations towards my goal. I've been on here for 51 minutes and 45 seconds, and I'm going to be on here until for another 8 minutes until I get to an hour, and then I'm hopping off. Yeah, he shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. It could be a fateful season. It could be, but the thing about it is you never know because even if these current faithfuls get out, I mean, these current traders get out, they pick more traders. So a part of me is like, I wish Wes becomes a trader. They're down a trader. Wes is available. Yeah, next week the challenge All Stars 5, which is Rivals themed, is going to be airing, which is the 30. What is it? What day is it? Challenge All Stars Rivals. Hold on, let me give you the correct date. The 29th. The Challenge All Stars Rivals is airing on January 29th, which is next Wednesday. Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't. Oh no. Listen, I said this at the beginning of this live, Debbie. I appreciate everything that my YouTube community gives me, donates for me, whether that's memberships, super chats, or PayPal's, Cash App, Zelle. I appreciate all that stuff, but I also don't depend on y'all for that. And what I mean by that is, I even appreciate the people who just watch me and have never given a donation or anything like that, anything of the sorts. You know, my life is my life. The things that I have going on in my life, I have to figure out on my own. So anything that I get from my YouTube community is not an expectation, it's just an added bonus that I appreciate everybody greatly for that. But I also greatly appreciate the people who just hop on here, talk to me, show your support in that way, with the views and with the commentary. Everybody is appreciated in their own way. They are. They have been lately. Oh, you're. Oh, I don't. I don't. I don't like. I feel like it's less fun when the faithfuls win. Like for an example, I love CT, but I don't like when the faithfuls win. I'm not gonna lie. I love Derek. I always say Derek is my second favorite Big Brother winner of all time. I want to see. I need to start watching Deal or No Deal Island. I have not seen it yet, but I got to start watching that. All right, I got 4 minutes left. So if you got any last words, last questions, throw them in there and I'm going to answer them. Who, Dr. Will? Interesting. Dr. William. William the Doctor. William the Doctor. We got 3 minutes left. All right, so there's no comments in here right now, but I just want to take the time, as I always do, to thank each and every one of you for your support, for subscribing, for your commentary, for those of you who have made donations, for your donations, for your advice, for your opinions, especially those who are in my membership chat. You see that I lean on y'all. When I have things going on, I lean on y'all for different opinions about, you know, what I should do in various scenarios. And if you don't have a membership, subscribe to a membership. I would appreciate that. And see, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I haven't watched Deal or No Deal Island, but for us as fans, sometimes we just assume that everybody knows the people from the shows that we know them from. But sometimes people are just cast for reality TV shows and they don't know some of the other cast. Appreciate that, Churicity. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say before I go. Rest in peace to my Uncle Joseph. My Uncle Joseph. So my aunt, Beat. This might take more than a minute, so I'm going to be here a little more than a minute. My Uncle Joseph in 2008, I don't know when he had his first stroke, but in 2008, he had his second stroke. I was living in Michigan at the time, and I was going to his house for Thanksgiving. And he had not had the stroke yet when I had the plans to go to his house. He had the stroke a day or two before I was supposed to leave to go to his house. And I went to the house anyways, and my aunt Veit was in the house, so he was in the hospital with his second stroke. This is my dad's brother. My dad, at one time, there was 9 people in the clan. With his passing, there's 2 left out of the 9. My dad passed in 2023. My uncle just passed this morning, actually. So With his passing, there's 2 out of the 9 siblings. One of them is, what is he, 81? 81 right now? His twin brother. And then there's another one that is somewhere in his mid 70s. It's very sad. Um, 2008, this uncle that passed had his second stroke. 2008, right? So since that time, um, at that particular point in time, he lost use of half of his body. He was paralyzed on half his body. And my aunt Veet retired to take care of him. And she took care of him for a number of years, and then she got cancer. And she passed last February. So I went over there to Detroit and we attended her funeral last February. Her husband, who was now in a place of just 100% dependence, he couldn't talk, he couldn't walk. It was actually a miracle, really, in some sorts, because it was a hard life that he was living, kind of trapped in your body. And he lived like 18, 19, almost 20 years from the time he had his first major stroke. And so, man, I feel for my cousins because it was hard for me losing my dad, but they lost their mom and their dad in a span of less than 1 year. So I know they're going through it, and I know that soon. I don't know when they're gonna have that funeral, but I'm sure that I'm gonna end up going there. Um, Life is hard, man. Life is hard. I mean, we talk about TV shows and we talk about, um, fun stuff, but in the background, not just me, but all of y'all, I know have your own things going on, and I know I'm the one that's on here talking about things that are going on with me, but I know that each and every one of you, the longer you live, is the more tragedies and tough times that you have to face. And I like to get on here and provide like some kind of, you know, some kind of fun and some kind of relief from what goes on in everybody's day to day. So I appreciate that. My uncle Joseph was probably my dad's closest sibling. And he's probably also the uncle on my dad's side that I spent the most time with, because a lot of my dad's siblings were in Ghana. So I didn't actually, I mean, I met them, but we didn't talk much. We didn't spend much time together. So this is the one that I spent the most time with. So it's hard. There's two sides of what I feel. Um, Obviously, I'm very sad for his loss, but another part of me feels like he was suffering for a very, 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 very long time. That's how I felt about my dad, except my dad was not suffering for 20 years. The condition my dad was in when he passed, he was in for like 2 years. I can't imagine 20 years of being in that type of position. Thank you, Charicity, for the cash app. Charicity just sent me a cash app. I've watched that. It's a very sad show. I mean, I know some people love it, but it's a very sad show to me. But I can appreciate it, even though it's not my cup of tea. I can appreciate the fact that my 600-pound life um, highlights the struggles that people go through at that size. I saw like a little snippet of it the other day, and a guy was like, I can't remember the exact quote that he said, but he said something to the effect of, "The only thing that I can depend on in life is food." And I was like, yikes. Thank you, Debbie. It is awful. I honestly, when it comes to him specifically, I feel like I'm the man is at peace. Like that's kind of how I feel. Like he was suffering for so long. I can't imagine not having use of your body and not being able to speak and just round the clock care, that type of thing. Um, but my cousins dealing with the loss of two parents in less than a year, that's the part that gets me. Mom died of cancer, and the father eventually just succumbs to a multitude of things going on with him. Sometimes the start of the year is what you don't want to happen. It's just what you will do to close it out right. That's true. Thank you, Edward, for that. We appreciate that. I definitely love your channel and has been a highlight of my day. Thanks, Charicity. So, what do we got going on? I actually don't have anything specific going on, but next week is going to be the challenge Rivals 2, which I'll be covering. They don't seem to have a premiere party in New York, so my premiere party will be right in my house. Um, the Traders next Thursday, I might do a little recap of that. Survivors coming in February. I think that's it. But I think that maybe because I have the time now, unfortunately, with the time off of my job, with the forced time off of my job, I might have time to make a little focus on my YouTube page and just figure out some new things to do with it. And I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to be watching it soon. I'm interested in watching it. Okay, y'all. Thanks for joining me. And thank you as always. And please make sure, if you have not done so yet, to today is Friday. Now it's Friday for you. It's been Friday for me for the last almost 4 hours, but it turned Friday for you while I got on this live. So please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Even though YouTube does not notify people, do it anyways, just for kicks and giggles, to hopefully one day get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank you, everybody, and have an amazing night.